What we want locally is to make sure that we can protect and make sure that we can live up to our core values and make sure that we treat this person according to all the rights that he should be getting under Hong Kong law. And this is exactly what I don't want to see, is that this sort of political influence to be interfering into the political, into the justice process, that judicial process that Mr. Snowden may end up having to get in Hong Kong if, for example, the U.S. starts by contacting the Hong Kong government to try to initiate an extradition, and if Mr. Snowden decides to try to get asylum or apply for refugee status here in Hong Kong, if he chose to do that, if the process comes to that point, he should be getting all the rights.
And what would political asylum mean? I mean, if he were arrested, he would be arrested by Hong Kong police. But this is a complicated story because he could be charged more for revealing information to Hong Kong and China. But then the question would be, would China be willing to then hand him over?
Okay, the process roughly, as I understand, works like this. If the U.S. started initiate a process and say that we want to arrest this person and start an extradition process, then Mr. Snowden could apply to in Hong Kong for refugee status, and then there will be at least two tests. First, by the United Nations High Commission on Refugees to determine whether or not, for example, that he will face torture at home, and whether or not this is political persecution, and so on. And second, also by the Hong Kong court. So the Hong Kong court, and he will be accorded rights to appeal all the way up to our highest court in Hong Kong. So assuming that money and financial issues, because you do need to get lawyers and so on for that, assuming those are not an issue, these processes in the past could have taken quite a bit of time. But of course, the issue is, at the end, if there is a decision that finally has to be made, if he isn't successful, and there has to be a final decision to be made about the extradition, our chief executive in Hong Kong, which is pretty much our president, he will have to make the final decision. But because this case very likely will involve foreign relations, then he has to consult the central government. So in the end, it means that the process can be a pretty prolonged process. And second, Beijing will probably come into the equation to make a final decision in the end.